Alright guys, today we're going to start 5.2, which is solving inequalities with multiplication and division. Here's our warm-up problem though. If traveling in Tokyo, what is the fastest form of transportation for trips less than 50 minutes long? So of all the possible transportation items, which one would be the quickest? Come back at the end. So today we're going to talk about solving with multiplication or division. Very similar again to solving with an equal sign. It's a few little things. So here we're going to go ahead and solve and check and graph. So first of all, 3 times x to undo multiplication, we divide. So we're dividing by 3. I get x is greater than 4. So I'll plot 4 there. It's a strictly open circle, so its x is just greater than 4. And I'm going to shade everything over here. And again, our checks. So check 1, plug in 4 as our limit number, so 3 times 4, again change to equals 12, well 3 times 4 is 12, so that's correct. And then our second check, plug in any number here in our shaded region, let's go with 5. So 3 times 5 has to be greater than 12, and 3 times 5 is 15, so those both check out. Second example here, we have negative 3x is greater than or equal to 12. So again, same process. We're going to go ahead and divide by negative 3. And we have x now is greater than or equal to negative 4. Over here, negative 4. It's a closed circle this time. And we're saying everything is greater than or equal to negative 4. Okay. Checks. Our first check, plug in negative 4. So we have negative 3 times negative 4. Is greater than or equal to 12. But again, remember, our first check, we don't want the equals or greater than sign. We just want the equal sign. Negative 3 times negative 4 is 12. So that checks out. Second check, pick any other number. So let's, that's negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. Let's go with 0. 0 is nice and easy, right? So I'd have negative 3 times 0 is now greater than or equal to 12. Well, negative 3 times 0 is 0. Ooh, look what happens. 0 is not greater than 12. So we actually have something going on here. It's a one little tricky rule that if we divide by a negative number, we actually flip the sign. That's what happens. And so instead of this being a greater than or equal to sign, we actually have to flip the sign to make it x is now less than or equal to negative 4. So again, whenever we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to flip our sign. That's our one rule that's different from solving equations, is the inequality. Notice, however, the equals or equals to part is still in there, so I'm only flipping the inequality part. So if I had a greater than, I'd flip it to less than. If I have a greater than or equal to, I'd flip it to less than or equal to. And that's it. So instead of it going this way, I'm going less than. And again, this flips as well. This one down here would flip to the less than sign, and work it out. Let's do another few more. D divided by 4, to undo division, I'd multiply by 4. So I'd have D is less than or equal to 8. It's filled in the circle at 8. And it's less than or equal to, so shading it down low. My checks, first one, plug in 8. So 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that checks out. My second check, plug in any number that's now less than 8. Let's go with 5. So 5 divided by 4 is less than or equal to 2. Well, 5 divided by 4 is 1.25. And that is indeed less than or equal to 2. So that checks out. Last example, here again I have a negative involved in this. So if I'm multiplying or dividing by a negative number, in this case, I have to flip my sign. So I now have D, but instead of a less than, I have greater than negative 12. So plot that over here. D is greater than negative 12, so we shade it this way. And I'll go ahead and do my checks. First check, if D is negative 12, I have negative 12 over negative 4. It's equal to 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive 3. Checks out. Second check, let's plug in any number that's greater than negative 12. We'll 0 works very nicely. So 0 divided by negative 4, again I have to flip my sign here in the second check, is now greater than negative 12. Well, 0 divided by anything is still 0. So 0 is greater than negative 12. That's also true. So that checks out. So here's our quick question. Here's the nuts and bolts of this section. Do we flip our sign or not when we solve? So for the first one, A, we're going to divide by a positive 3. Do we flip? No. In part B, we have x divided by a negative 3, so we have to multiply everything by negative 3. Do we flip? Yes. Because we're multiplying by negative, or dividing by negative, we got to flip. So this is a flip. C, we have this negative 4 we divide by, so this is a flip as well. And the last one, we have 2x. Notice there's a negative over here, but we're dividing by 2. So since we're dividing by a positive, this would still be a no flip, keep the same sign. So if traveling in Tokyo, what is the fastest form of transportation for trips less than 50 minutes? The answer is actually a bicycle. It is so congested in Tokyo, bikes will get you faster places than cars and the train system. Thanks guys, have a good night. Go ahead and finish up those 4 questions on Naiku. Remember to flip the sign if we're multiplying or dividing by negative.